So what happens when y'all don't agree though, but in front of the kids y'all have to?
Our thing was always like, if we're gonna argue behind closed doors. You know what I mean? Like, we're never going to, or even with the kids. You know what I mean? Right. If we're like, he agrees or I don't agree, then we're just gonna pull it to the side.
Modes on the beat.
What's up, everybody? It's your host, RJ. I'm here today with some of my favorite people, Santiago and Sandy Dominguez, who I don't consider friends. I consider family. But Santi, welcome to the pod. Sandy, welcome to the pod. Thank y'all so much.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Right? We're normally at your house just chatting it up, or somewhere eating, right? But
That's right.
Tonight, man, it's just going to just be a conversation.
That's awesome.
And so that's what we always do, and we do that best. Right. And so introduce yourself, what you're about, who you guys are as a couple, but also as you are as an individual.
You want to go first? Because when he's going to keep talking.
Okay.
So, my name is Sandy. This is my husband, Santiago. We are from Chicago. And we've been married 18 years as of April 13th, Friday the 13th. Actually, we got married. Yeah.
Wow. We got married on Friday the 13th.
So it's not bad luck, guys.
On purpose?
No, not on purpose. No.
Okay.
But everybody's like, oh my God, that's bad luck. It's not going to last. I'm like, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. And here we go. 18 years later, we're still here.
That's crazy.
Yep.
But from Chicago, now to Texas.
Now to Texas. It's going to be 3 years, right?
Yes, 3 years.
3 years in August for me.
And me, well, March, May.
Yeah, so.
March or May, I can't remember exactly where, but it started in Abilene. That's where I met you.
Right, and we'll get into that, how we met.
Yeah.
I should have wore that hat. That's what I planned on doing.
No, but I like that hat better, though.
Yeah,
I know.
It makes me a lot happier.
So this C is for the Cubs. Shout out to Chicago and all our families there. But the way we met, let's give everybody a background of that is our boys were playing travel basketball together. Correct. We did not know each other. I remember I was sitting by myself as a darker-skinned parent by myself.
You were the only other Hispanic other than us. So right. It was easy to pinpoint.
So I was there by myself,
right.
and we'll talk about that, why I was by myself. But I was there, and I remember I was just watching the guys warm up, and I remember you started giving me hell. I'm like, what are you doing wearing a Chicago White Sox hat? And I'm like, I don't know. I like the Sox, and I got family there. And then y'all didn't stop giving me crap.
No.
Yeah, well, we're from Chicago.
And
you still don't, right?
I hate when you wear that
But
hat.
then, do you remember my parents came in that same game,
right.
and they started, and I was like, my mom's actually from Chicago,
right.
Indiana area, and we just started chatting.
And we kind of laughed it off. Because everybody that says, oh, we're from Chicago, they're really not from Chicago. They're from Indiana, Schaumburg. You know, no, we're from Chicago. Right?
If you had a short sleeve shirt, you would have.
Oh, yeah, we're from Chicago. I'm like, oh, yeah, we're Indiana. I was like, oh, okay, cool. You know,
it's like a Texan.
No wonder
saying,
you're a Sox
I'm really
fan.
from Oklahoma or whatever. But yeah. But no, I remember, and it was like instant because 2 weeks later was Easter.
Yes.
And you guys spent Easter with my family, and we had just like a wonderful time, and we never stopped hanging out.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know, when we got to Abilene, it was just us. You know, we had no friends, no family when we got there. So it was rough in the beginning. And I think it was until about 6 months in that we started talking about what that happened, right? Because she got there in August. So if it was by almost close to a year by ourselves, you know, with no family, you know, very few friends here and there, what we thought were friends at that time. But either way, we met you, and then, you know, we kind of started bonding, and then we had a lot of familiarities together, you know, your kids, my kids.
We're loud.
We like to have fun, you know, we can talk all day, you know, so that's when we started hanging out, and we spent Easter. That was the first time.
I remember.
With
Do you remember what y'all brought?
We did. I brought your mom's like famous
bacon rice.
The bacon rice, and then you also brought your pico.
Oh, I did make that.
Yes.
No one could eat because it was so spicy.
Yeah.
But anyways, like, so I want to kind of get into like when we started all hanging out, just the backlash of, dude, you're hanging out with RJ and that family. Like, what's up with that? So kind of get into like, I remember Sandy, you said something to me one night. It was like, somebody said, hey, you see that guy by himself with those nice shoes? Stay away from him. He's done all this bad stuff. And so talk to me about like how come y'all didn't listen to them?
Well, I'll let her talk because she's the one that got
I
that.
actually
She's-
told him.
She's the one that got the cheese, man.
Oh.
And then came and told me, hey, did you see that guy? I'm like, no, I didn't see him
No,
because
he
I was
didn't.
coaching. You remember at that time? I was
Oh,
coaching
you
at
were.
too.
Yeah.
So, I'm like, no, what are you telling me? Like, yeah, that other Hispanic, because you literally, that's what you were going to, the other Hispanic.
The guy with the bling.
The guy with the bling. He's like, they told me not to hang out with him. I'm like, what's with
Yeah, we were at a
that?
basketball game. I
Yeah.
think our kids were playing against each other.
Yeah.
And then you walked in, and then someone else right behind me was like, "You see that dude right there?" And then I saw. I don't know what you were wearing. I don't know if you were still wearing your like socks hat or whatever.
He's always got a hat.
Yeah, always, right?
Yeah.
Always.
But I think it was the socks. So I was like, oh. But then I remember they're like, yeah, don't do business with him. Like,
Don't associate yourself at all, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
And then when she told me that, when we started talking, she's like, do you remember what they told us about? I'm like, listen, at the end of the day, we're grown, right?
Yeah.
I don't need anybody telling me who I can and can't hang out with.
Right.
At the end of the day, we can find out for ourselves who the person truly is, right?
Yeah.
I mean, and now looking back at it, imagine if we would have been influenced by somebody else, right? And
Right.
we would have not hung out or not. We wouldn't be here talking right now.
Exactly.
We
Or the
wouldn't have
closeness of
friendship that we have.
our kids together. Like
Right.
they consider each other like family.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
just-
I mean, your kids call me uncle. I'm like, especially with mine. Right?
Exactly. And so I think we always give each other crap, but Jeremiah and Noah always gas up Unc.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And Junior and Noah always gas up me, right? Like it's so
Yeah,
funny.
yeah.
But yeah. So I mean, I want to kind of just talk about a time where I knew you guys were real when we were on my patio and you guys shared some of that story. But man, we don't care. We got the first day you posted me on your Snap or whatever. Shout out to your Snap, which is going crazy right now. But you posted and people were ugly about it, right?
Yeah.
But I remember we were on my patio and you just started opening up to me, just started talking. And then little did I know, a couple of weeks later, my kids would make the decision to go move with their mom.
Yeah, that's
Right. And gosh, that ate me up. Y'all know how bad that ate me up. And I remember I lashed out at the kids. I said some things that I regret, but also I know that they were real because they were real feelings.
Yeah.
And I turned my phone off, and somehow you continue to call me until I answer.
Yeah.
And I'll cry like a baby now, already talking about it, but you said something that was very influential at that time because I thought I was right. And I thought the best thing for my kids was to live with me.
Yeah.
But when they made the decision to go live with mom, you said, hey, it's all right to be upset, but it's not all right to not show love. Yeah. And so you were like, you got to love them through this, even when you don't agree with them. You got to make sure that they don't have to doubt that you love them. So where did that come from?
I honestly had a really good upbringing with my parents, right?
Yeah.
So having that obviously has taught me to be a good father as well, and seeing other friends go through things, right? And some of them, have things have happened where they weren't in their kid's life at some point or another, and I had to step in and help, right? So just seeing all those things and how it's turned around and how I was able to help them kind of get back into, their niche, right? I guess you can say. It just, at the end of the day, you want to make the right decision for them, right? And you wanted them to stay with you.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you have to respect how they feel. And again, you later on found out the real reason why they wanted to move, right?
Right.
It's to protect their mom.
Mm-hmm.
And me as a mama's boy, right? I would have done the same thing. If my mom was moving away, and my dad's probably going to see this, but he knows, I would have picked my mom.
Right.
I would have never not picked my mom. That wouldn't even have been a question, right? But the last thing you want to do is lash out at them and make them feel guilty to where then they turn their back on you. And that's what I didn't want to happen, Yeah. And I remember I called you, I kept calling you, and then eventually I ended up calling Noah because Noah had left.
He went to Ben's house.
He left,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And I was like,
He was
man, and I
confused.
told him, like, we got to go pick him up. They went walking. I'm like, we gotta
Yeah.
go and it's Abilene, bro.
Yeah.
You can't just go anywhere without driving. You know? I mean, you got to drive. So I'm like, let's go look for them. But I think we went looking for him, right? For a good 10, 15 minutes driving around. And then he called me that he was good. But, I mean, we were genuinely concerned and want to make sure that the kids were good and that you were good. Because I told her, this, I'm like, man, this is going to kill him because I know how much you love the kids, know? So it happened. And I'm glad, that things worked out for the best.
It brought me here, right? So
Yeah.
shortly after that, you guys move,
Yep.
and I thought the relationship was going to be over.
I do. We thought so too. Well, I mean, not
didn't.
really. You know why? Because you drive a
his kids
lot.
are here.
I drive a lot,
And
but
you drive a
kids are
lot.
but I thought you guys, because the friendship had instantly started just getting so tight,
Yeah.
and then I was like, crap, they're leaving.
Well, you know why I kind of didn't think that either? Because, like, if you think about it, we moved to Fate, in May, right? May after.
Mm-hmm.
My birthday, remember, my first birthday, it was in June. And again, I really didn't have anybody in Dallas yet. You know, I had a couple of friends, you know, but like friends that I could call, you know, from the past, nothing like that.
Yeah.
And you brought Oscar with you, and you guys drove from Abilene down to celebrate my birthday weekend with me.
We
So
did.
I won't feel like I remember like all that, like that, all that's up, you know.
So you guys put in the request to move from Abilene to now Fates, and I thought the relationship was going to be over. I had just started dating someone who we met, and y'all met her.
Yep.
And when you guys moved away, I thought it was still going to just kind of
Continue.
continue, maybe. I thought it would continue with her,
Right.
but I didn't think it would continue with you guys. And then let's fast forward. That breakup was a heartbreak for me, and it was you two that stood in the gap and recognized, hey, RJ's not all right. And
Yeah.
I remember some of the things you said
Yeah.
for me to get over that, both of y'all. Like something that's just real special for our friendship is when I'm going through something, you're going through something, you're going through something. We have communication with all of us through text,
Yeah.
but then some of us text to each other's side.
Yeah.
Hey, and so I remember Sandy would be like, hey, are you good? Are you sure? And I would be like, no, I miss her. And then you were like, bro, I know you're not good. So like, talk to me about that. Like, how did y'all recognize? Because I was not okay. And that was probably one of my darkest seasons after that.
I just think you just weren't yourself. You just weren't yourself. You were looking all for the wrong places after that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't call it spiraling. Well, I mean, I would
would,
call it.
yeah.
Okay, you know, yeah, I would.
Yeah.
I would. So I'm like, oh no, he's not okay. You
Right.
know, like, so that's how I know.
And I remember
were
you said
like-
something like, I had started trying to date faster, remember?
Well, let's see. And again, you have to understand that we're married, right? So either way, when we go home before we go to bed, we talk, you know, and you know, obviously, hey, you know, RJ and this person, and she'd be like, I think he's moving way too fast, and I'm like, I think so too. And you know, we kind of had that conversation, like, hey man, like I feel like you're like going at 1,000 miles, like.
You did.
So
We had that conversation, and I just ignored you. right?
Down.
Yeah.
Because then when things happen, me and her kind of like, it could have scared her away, right?
Yeah.
You were showing way too much affection that you potentially someone that's not ready for that affection can get scared, right? If they
Right.
haven't been in a relationship or have had bad relationships in the past. So when we saw, you know, I know for a fact I saw you suffer, right? I saw you, and again, we talked very, very bluntly with each other, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I knew you were hurting, and you know she gets the other side, right? The
softer side, right?
softer
Yeah.
side. I'm gonna tell you straight up, get over her, and which I did.
Right.
Get over her. Let's just go get another one. You know, like I mean, it is what it is. I'm not single. You are. Well,
Right.
don't waste your time.
But-
right, like go.
In the bro part of our relationship is you're like, oh, she blocked you? Well, blank that blank, right? I'm blocking her too.
Yeah, I'm like,
and then you
yeah.
called Sandy
We
and were
sure
like,
did.
Sandy,
We
you
all
blocked her.
blocked her.
I'm like, block her right
still
now.
blocked.
And she's still blocked.
Blocked. Yes, she is.
She
You
is.
ain't gonna do my boy dirty like that
That's
and then expect
right.
me not to block you.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
no.
And so, no, that was just a time, and I know we laugh about it now because thank God I'm healed from it.
Right.
But I wasn't for a long time. I would say probably closer to that, 12 to maybe even 18 months afterwards.
Yeah.
I remember I would like bring a new girl in, and Sandy would be shaking her head. That's not your type. What do you do?
No.
Yeah, that's kind of what she said. You
Like-
kind of were trying to replace the hurt with somebody else.
Yeah.
Right? And you were just picking the wrong.
Over and over. The common denominator is my bad decisions.
I was like, bro, I'm like, don't bring no one else over my house no more. We're
We're
not
done.
ever gonna see her again, bro.
You
Like,
know,
why-
I think we
why
just
don't-
we just
yeah,
stopped
I'm like,
asking the
why would
important
you-
questions,
right,
and they
'cause they'd
came.
be like, oh, how you doing? How are you? Where you from? Blah, blah. And I was just like, hi.
Hi.
That's it. Hi, your name?
We ain't gonna see you.
The kids wouldn't even come downstairs anymore to say hi.
Yeah, we won't see
We're
you next
good.
week. I hope you have
But-
fun.
But yeah, so that ended. But then our relationship, you guys, like I said, you moved to Fate.
Yes.
And that didn't change anything. If anything, it got closer.
Yeah.
Conversations never stopped.
No.
And then we get the news a couple of months later of your mom is not doing well. And yeah, and she's not doing well. And we started praying and we started believing. And I know for me and some of y'all, there was that prayer chain that went on.
Yeah.
Just trusting that God was going to heal. And I know you being, the son, kind of the strong one in the family, you might have known what was going to happen, but you're also hoping for the best.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, you always want to keep faith, right?
Right.
And then, obviously I have my sisters, my dad, that I'm the eldest. I feel like, all my life, the responsibility, other than my dad's, right, has always been on me, That's why even my, growing up, the expectations for me were very high, right? I had to be an AB student. I couldn't,
The pressure and the expectations.
The pressure and expectations were high, and I thank God for that, right? Because that's thank God I'm where I'm at now, right? Because of that. But yeah, you have to be the strong one, and then I'll never forget. Like I thank my wife, because obviously that hurt her a lot too. But she was trying to be the strongest for all of us, because I died the day my mom died.
I remember, bro.
Yeah. So that was probably the hardest moment of my life, and I don't wish that not even on my worst enemy. Especially the way that she left. Right. We came from vacationing, and she leaves on the airplane, and next thing I know, she's has cardiac arrest, and after that, it's kind of, she was like on life support for a little bit, I think 2 weeks, before eventually she passed away. You try to be the strongest for your family, right? Especially again being the eldest, you try to be the strongest. You got to help setting everything up. Obviously my dad was a mess, my sisters were a mess too. So it was hard, man. It was a really hard time, and
I remember, bro. I know, how you recognized I was hurt during my season. Yeah. I recognized that broke you.
Yeah.
And I would reach out to Sandy and I'll be like, hey, how's he doing? And she's like, he's hurting. And then I remember I said, how are you doing? And she said, I'm trying to be strong.
Yeah.
But I lost my mom too, because you told me that you talked to her every single day, multiple times, probably more than Santiago. You talked to your mom from recipes and all these things that you would talk to her. But what did that do to your relationship with God? Because I think when we had a conversation, you were upset, hey, God, I wish you would have healed my mom. And that kind of detoured you from maybe wanting to go to church. Is that accurate?
I definitely, I can tell you right now, I wanted nothing to do with church or God at that time, right?
Right.
You question a lot of things that happen, right? Because you don't have an answer, and you question God and why he did what he did, right? Yeah. And what got me upset is my mom was a woman of God, right? She raised me in church, so you get to the point, when you go through something like that, right? You start thinking man, how can this guy that's out there doing this, and this, can do this for so long and not die, but yet my mom that did nothing, that anybody that knew my mom was great.
Yeah.
You're going to go ahead and take her from me, right? At 60, she was just 60 years old. You know what I'm saying? That's young to me, So I was definitely very upset. And she can tell you, I wanted nothing to do with God. I didn't want to go to church. And I went through a very, very dark time. And it took months. It took months. It wasn't anything easy. It took months for me to even get out of the darkness that I was in.
I remember that you were so broken, and Sandy said, hey, do you mind coming up? And I don't know if you remember this, but I come up and we're on your patio. I hadn't even transitioned over to Fate yet. We're on your patio, and we pull out a bottle.
Yes.
And
I have the videos.
Well, I have the videos too. But you know me, I don't know Spanish.
Yeah.
And I claim to know Spanish, but I don't. And I know a little bit of very, very poquito. But I sounded not Mexican right there too. But you had your YouTube music on.
Yeah.
And I remember we were there and we took a drink just in honor of your mom, and that song came on, and I remember you and I just started dancing, really.
Yeah.
We started dancing, and kind of that was for me, I started to see the change, okay, you've accepted that mom is gone, and
And
started to heal, really.
Yeah, and it took a while. Like, to tell you the truth, I mean, obviously you don't get over it, in a month, and 2 months, and 3 months. I mean, her birthday.
And I don't
Mother's
think you'll
Day,
ever get over
like,
it.
exactly.
It's just
But
that
you kind of start coping with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you understand she's no longer here, right?
Mm-hmm.
It makes you cope with life a little bit better,
Okay.
But at the end, like she said, I mean, I'm never gonna, not hurt because my mom's like, especially like Mother's Day coming up, like every Mother's Day, I go out. She knows I had presents, flowers. Like, it was always that was her day and our day.
Right.
So it's hard during those times, but again, you kind of just start coping with it little by little.
So you said like certain things like remind you, like for Mother's Day remind you, but then I also know like sometimes I'll be like, dang, how did you cook that? What's the recipe? And you're like, I really don't have a recipe. It's her recipe.
Yep.
And so I know some of those things like messed you up on a daily as well. So
Yeah, no, I would just call her up. Even now, just any little thing, like her old, like, just like, us Mexicans, we have like everything. We have a fix for everything,
Right.
And it's like, even like my son, like Junior, he'll be like, see, Grandma would know how to fix this. Like, he has this little thing that's been bothering him for like 3 or 4 months, and he's like, oh, we can't even call Grandma anymore. She would tell us like what to put on it, So yeah, things like that, where it's just like, now I got to come up with my own or try to remember her or what she said, or so I feel like I'm just trying to like figure it out.
Right.
But
I think you said something great. Like, you never truly get over it. You just learn how to cope with it, right? And just move forward. And so like that loss to your mom was not just your loss, it was your entire family.
No.
Because I mean, you think of the boys, I mean, they loved your mama,
yeah.
I remember just Noah would get sad, little Noah would get sad, and I never got a chance to see Junior get sad. They're those teenagers that maybe they hide it right now.
But he has, he told us, he even said, just because I'm not crying doesn't mean I'm not hurting. Because I think after a while we were like, dude, like, you don't have any emotions?
Yeah.
Like, what is going on? And until finally he's just like, bro, like, yes, like, it affected me too. Just because I'm not crying doesn't mean like I don't, like, I don't miss her. So,
Perfect. And I want to get into
I think it could have been the teenagers.
it is, and that's what I want to get into next is we have teenagers now, and parenting them is not as easy as it was parenting them when they were younger.
No.
Sweet. So now we have kids, right, and they're no longer young. They're teenagers.
Yep,
They are.
sure.
And with teenagers comes a lot of different personalities, attitudes sometimes, emotions,
Hormones. Lots of them.
new smells, all the things.
Sandy loves those.
Right. Hair products that we got to buy.
Yes, tons of them.
And so, man, let's dive into that. So
Okay.
you guys have Junior. He is 15 now.
He's 15,
Gosh, already
yep.
15. I have Jeremiah at 17, Noah at 16, and Selah's almost at the teenage year at 12. But and then we got little Noah, right? Y'all
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
But-
He
not a
doesn't count.
teenager thing.
Yeah, he's not, right? And so
Even though he acts like one.
he's smarter than all the
Oh,
others.
he's
really
probably
is.
smarter than all of
He
them
really
combined.
is.
And us too, but
yeah.
he's our genius. But let's talk about that, like how it is. I remember you had a moment, Jenner kind of lashed out at you. Do you remember this? That you were doing something in the backyard.
Oh yes.
Okay.
When he almost died.
When he almost died.
So I told him to what's it called? Put the hose away. The hose that was on the floor. And I was telling him how to do it. And he's like, well, if you want, you can do it yourself.
Oh,
And
that's right. That's right.
Well, I picked up that chair. I was gonna I'm like, what did you say?
Right.
And he was like, I'm sorry, sir. I'm like, okay. That's the last time you talk back to me like that. So yeah,
And then I had a moment with my Noah. You were there when you and Junior popped up for the basketball.
Oh God,
Right.
yes.
My Noah, I wanted him to get the ball because the guy that was bringing up the ball was not doing a good job. And so I'm like, Noah, get the ball. And he's ignoring me. And so sometimes I got, Noah, get the ball. And then I lose it. Noah, get the
Does that mean
ball.
pull him out?
No.
No.
But he went off on Noah,
and
and Noah turned red.
And Noah said, he said something. And I'm cool if you ignore me. I'm okay with that. But it's when you just say something like just smart. And I lost it, Sandy.
Yeah.
I said something. No, he's right. Noah turned red. And he just didn't know what was going to happen. Was Dad going to
But
sit him
I'll
out?
tell you what, he brought the ball up.
He brought the ball up. Because that's what I want to do is like, still, there's no real manual to being a parent, right? And I think we're learning to be one as we are one. And the best thing I've learned is to be honest and transparent with my kids.
You have to.
Right.
You have to.
Yeah.
And you guys do a great job. You always say that you're the yin and the yang, right? To y'all's love, but you're also to that in like the family part. Like sometimes you might have to be firm, and she's the soft.
No, not sometimes.
You're the firm.
I'm expected to be.
You're soft too. Don't get it.
No.
Yeah, you're soft too. I've seen it.
Listen,
I've seen it.
If
I'm firm, or I'll get upset.
like when she gets upset,
like you
stay
gotta
away.
really get me there.
Yeah,
like when,
right.
You know, so.
But how do y'all do that? How do you balance? So, with say, just take Junior, right?
Mm-hmm.
If he does something that upsets you, but maybe hasn't upset Sandy, like how do y'all find that balance?
We'll text each other everything.
Well-
You got this one or what?
yeah, no, we'll definitely talk. Like, sometimes I have to tell her, like, hey, you have to have my back. I can't be, yelling at him about X, Y, Z, and you be okay with it. Because then now I'm looking like I'm the bad person and you're the good person. And then that happens, and then the tables are turned. Something with school, because she's very big with his grades, right? Like, as soon as he gets a missing well, you'll get the text message in our family, what's this missing assignment?
Yeah.
What's this? And I'm just like, oh, God. See, that to me, I'm like, oh, God, here we go, But this is her thing. That's her thing. I let her handle that department. I'm completely
But you
cool with
back
that.
her too.
But
though.
I would definitely back her up. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I have to come home and be like, what happened? Why is your mom texting you about this? We have to work as a team. It won't work if you're not working together. As a team.
Absolutely.
So what happens when y'all don't agree though? But in front of the kids, y'all have to be a
Yes,
team, right? You're saying?
always.
It happens.
Always.
It's happened. Like, it's happened where I've gotten upset, right? And I've said some things, and then later she'll be like, oh, like, you didn't have to do all that. Like, you're being extra. And I'm like, okay, cool. I get it. My bad. And then I'm mad enough to go up to them and apologize if I overdid it. Like, I mean, I don't mind
being extra
apologizing.
mean.
Yeah, if I was being,
But
no, I will tell you, extra mean. I was being extra mean.
But our thing was always like, if we're gonna argue, we're gonna argue behind closed doors. You know what I mean? Like, we're never going to,
Relationship-wise.
or even with the kids. You know what I mean?
right.
If we're like, he agrees or I don't agree, then we're just gonna pull it to the side. So when like we actually do raise our voice, our kids are like, "What's going on?" Like, because they've never
Why are
seen
you guys
that.
yelling? I'm like,
You
I'm not
know,
yelling. I'm
so-
just talking loud.
But we do talk loud though.
But I talk
yeah.
loud.
Yeah.
You know that. So, I mean,
So-
it's normal for me, but I guess I'm too loud sometimes. I don't know.
Why do y'all put importance on holding your kids accountable and disciplining them? Like, why? Why do y'all make it an importance?
I mean, that's how life is. Life is all about that. Like, it's at work, your job, you're always going to be held accountable for, your position, your work. And I always hold Santiago Jr. up there, like,
Right.
it's part of life. Like, and college is around the corner. And
Well, the other thing, too, we were brought up that way. I mean,
Yeah.
let's be honest. Again, we came, I mean, I can never say that we didn't come up from a good household, right? Like, we came in from parents that cared genuinely for us to do better. She was a straight A student, honor society. I was straight, I wasn't straight A student in high school, but, still A's and B's, throughout high school. So the expectations that our parents had on us when we had nothing, right? When we were poor, when we were struggling to get food to eat, right? The expectations were never lowered, right? So now that we're able to give our kids the stuff that we couldn't get, why will I lower my expectations?
they got to earn it too, like, Junior wants these Kobe shoes, and usually we'd get it for him, but now you got to earn them. Like, give me the straight A's and I'll give them to you.
Y'all said something in the past
So-
that I think you said the moment they stop becoming straight A students, because that's all you ask them to do, you're cutting them off financially, like the things that
they're
they
cut off completely
Right.
with everything. Cell phone. Again, my standards are always going to be high, because why would my standards be lowered when they have the necessities and they have everything that we didn't have as kids,
right.
right? You have to
Your
hold
kids
your
have
kids
your
at
Phones.
arm's
No one has a phone.
Right.
Like-
And they have tap. They can pay for anything. They ain't got money. It's our money.
They don't have to ask for anything. Like, they go out, they buy their friends food, they tap. Their friends come with us to eat at restaurants all the time. Like, I don't have an issue with that. Something that my parents couldn't do for me growing up. Right. They're in travel basketball. That ain't cheap. Yeah, you know that.
Right.
All the games we have to go
entry
through, all the
fees, right?
traveling we have to go through. Like, we're putting all this. We're investing I want my return on my investment, like, and my expectations are high because, again, I want them to go to college. I want them to get scholarships. I want them to be better. You know what they say, a father will there's only one man in your life that will always be happy that you're better than them, and that's your father. Wow. Right? Like, no other person wants to see you be better than them, but your father does. Your father wants you to be better than them. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, that's so good because we live in an age where I'll root you and I'll yell and cheer for you when you're doing good, but the moment you get above me, I'm gonna start hating on you.
Yeah, that's
right.
That's
so that makes perfect sense. Like the one person that will shout you out forever when you exceed them is your father. Right. And so
or your mom.
Or your mom. Mom's always there, right? Or your mom, right?
Yes.
But it's cool that you guys have a standard, not because you want to be mean or a hard butt, but it's because you want the best for them. His dream, Jenner's dream is to be a D1 athlete. We all know that.
Yeah.
So there's disciplines from his food, making his breakfast in the morning. I've seen those posts, right? Yeah. But also there's standard of saying, hey, there's responsibilities, things like that. And I know we have boys, and we have Selah. Selah is y'all's niece, and that's my princess. But there's a standard of who can come into their lives.
Right.
And I remember the boys used to hate me for this, but now they understand it. So if they're dating somebody, a girlfriend, I make it very awkward for the girl. I call her over to me and say, hey, I know you're his girlfriend. We are seeing each other. And I'm sure your parents have said you're the princess and you're the prize. But I need you to know that you're not just dating an average guy.
Right.
I have brought my sons into this world, and we've taught them that they are kings. Yeah. Not that they're above you, but they're not below you either.
Right.
And we have a standard because we want them to potentially be everything that God has called them to be. And so if you're going to not withhold the standard that we live, you can't be with our boys. And so I know you guys have that same thing. I know Junior is a very good-looking. Our kids are somehow. I don't know. Shout out to Sandy. Thank God.
Definitely wasn't me.
They don't look like you, and mine don't look like me. Yeah. But we got good-looking kids.
Yeah.
But there's a standard that y'all also like. I know we don't want them just to go and find a girlfriend. We don't want them to just date whoever or mess up. We want them to
take their time. I mean, again, take their time. And obviously they're teens, right? So right now, that's the biggest thing. From
the hormones, they're everywhere.
Yeah, so the only thing, I always, tell Junior is because he sees us and a lot of the things, how we met,
y'all story, right? From 10 and 12 years old, right?
Met her when she was 10, started dating when we were 14, 15. We've been together for more than half our lives. So he sees that and he's like, oh, I want that. And I'm like, well, it's not like anybody can just have that. Like it happened, like we wasn't planned, right? It just happened that it worked that way. But, you have to find your Sandy, and I'm like, your mom has given you a good example of what a good woman, a good mother, right? A good partner is, right? So it's hard, and it's going to be hard when you're measuring what you want on a girl, and, because you have a good example of a good mom. So, we always talk about it. I'm like, dude, you don't have to rush it. Like, there's no rush.
But I love that y'all don't like sugarcoat stuff with your kids.
Oh, no. We talk about I will talk to you about.
There was a saying that was like, I don't want to be the dad where he turns away from you. I want to be the dad that calls you and tells you this is what I've done, something like that to that extent. But that's exactly what I want.
It is. I
don't want my son to be afraid to come to me and ask me. And again, I think there was a comedian that said, like, if my son was to call me at 2 in the morning,
messed up, right? Or
drunk,
something.
It's fine. I'm okay. I want to be the person he calls me at 2 in the morning that he's drunk or he messed up, and I want to go pick him up instead of him getting in a car because he's too afraid to call me and get in a car accident or something happens.
Because I think the biggest fear for us is if we're too authoritative, our kids are not going to want to let us know their failures, right? But that's when I turned and said, you know what, I got to be transparent. Like,
you have to.
I would hide everything, all my ugly, right? And so I got them gifts. I was this perfect dad when there was no relationship,
right?
Because they can't relate to something that's fake,
true,
right? And so I love that we've become really a whole family that we have those hard conversations, even when we have game nights.
Yeah,
I remember we started asking them hard questions. But
don't
I love
play
that.
a game. Don't do it.
Those games are cool, but
makes up his own rules.
I do make up my own rules. The Uno champ and all those things.
Yeah,
but no,
self-proclaimed like LeBron.
From someone who prides themselves as being a good dad, I just want to say y'all are doing a great job with the kids.
You too.
Thank you. But it's
good. They're
it's
very
really cool to
lucky.
see that if one of my friends is not a good parent, I shouldn't associate with them. That's why I love to have my kids over at y'all's house, because the atmosphere that y'all create.
See how this side you're asking, why do they keep coming to
Well, it's for the flaming hot Cheetos and the food. But no, seriously, from our family, we just say thank y'all for just.
Oh, thank you. You and the kids. You guys have been a blessing.
Yeah, so you guys are a godsend. So
Tea time. Tea time. Tea time. Tea time. Tea time.
GPP fam, it's time for one of y'all's favorite segments, Tea Time. This is where the audience is submitting questions in, and we have no idea what they are, but it's rapid fire. So we have no time at all to respond. I will read you guys a question, and then you got to respond right away.
Okay.
Because this is Sandy's show, Sandy, you will go first.
Absolutely.
And you know what? I'm going to double back. So you're going to get 2 questions before he gets 1.
All right.
So here it goes. Top or bottom?
Bottom.
Put it on the top.
Okay, middle.
Middle. I cheat on every time I shuffle everything.
See, that's why we
Okay,
keep
here it
playing
goes.
with
This
you.
is for Sandy. Sandy, what's something people would be shocked to know about you?
Okay, so people often think that I'm mean.
That you're mean?
Yes.
Because like you have like a resting.
Yes,
face.
a resting face, you know. But no, I'm like, me and my husband joke, and if you ever seen like Jersey Shore,
Yeah.
I wouldn't say we
She's
grew up on
Sammy.
it. I'm like Sammy. I'm the sweetest. But I am really sweet. Like I am super sweet, and people think I'm really, really mean. So, so that I would say that would be like.
No, you're so sweet.
I know, right?
Until a kid named Sean.
That is for another time.
That's for another time. Yeah.
Man,
All right.
that's a good one.
Shout out to little Noah. All right. Oh, it says to Sandy.
Oh,
To Sandy. If Santiago had a warning label, what would it say?
oh my God! There's so many warnings.
Red flags. Red flags.
A warning label.
Yeah. On his forehead that says warning.
Do not. I don't know. I'm thinking about you talking, but I don't know what the warning would be. Like,
shut up.
don't.
It's that phone.
Yeah.
Caution.
He doesn't
Caution.
shut up.
Yeah. No, don't get him started.
There you
Don't-
go.
That's it.
Don't
That
get
is
him
a
started.
Good one.
Yeah, don't
Don't get him
get
started.
Self-control.
Yes.
Okay.
Very good.
Santi. What's a silly argument you still remember to this day that you had with Sandy?
Silly.
Mm-hmm.
I don't.
A fight, an argument, anything that you still remember to this
God.
day.
When you went to the casino with
Oh
Andre?
God,
Oh.
that wasn't silly, but I still remember that one because that one.
That
hurt.
was the first time that another woman besides my mom has ever grounded me.
Oh
So we
yeah, but that wasn't a silly. That I wouldn't consider that silly.
we got haircuts, we got tattoos,
we got haircuts, we got
tattoos, and we
Random.
went to the
random day.
casino
And didn't get back.
got there till 7 in the morning.
yeah, and we didn't get to take
No to
Noah to
school.
Yeah.
and yeah, we were in trouble.
It was a bad. Yeah.
So,
that wasn't
not that
silly, but-
you remember it,
Oh,
somebody
God.
else remembers it.
Yeah.
All right,
You've had, yeah.
I don't
My
want to
turn.
remember that.
my turn. Go ahead.
All right. Top or bottom?
Stop.
All right. What was your first impression of us as a couple?
The truth, though.
Wow. Oh,
That day at the game, what
the
did
day
you
at
think
the
of
game,
us?
I was like, these people are
They're crazy?
they're crazy, like, because I didn't realize I had my socks hat on. Y'all were just like, instantly, you're giving me crap about Chicago. And I was like, oh, well, they're weird. Go back to Chicago. Right? Go back. You like
I
Chicago?
believe you did say that.
Yeah, if I wasn't bald, I would have taken my hat off and just gave it to you. But yeah. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. This is for you.
Okay.
What's one thing God has taught you about forgiveness and relationships?
If I don't forgive someone, they have the power over me still. And the moment that I release them is the moment that I don't have to worry about my feelings or my emotions being trapped and held hostage.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I felt like that's what you
that was the
needed.
right answer.
That's what you needed
for
for
sure.
that during that time. And
Absolutely. I had to just, but I didn't do that right away.
You didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so now
That
it's
was what was
like, hey,
holding you back. Absolutely.
okay, Sandy.
Oh.
Who usually says I'm sorry after an argument? Nobody.
I don't know. I would say me in the beginning,
In the beginning.
But now, no, I don't say I'm sorry.
No, again, 18 years married. Even now, when we get into arguments and you're upset, we go to bed next morning. I don't want to talk about it. It's done and over with. Like, it's the next day.
Well,
So we
well,
don't
pause
really
right there
argue
because that's something that you've always said. Regardless,
Yes.
if you guys fight, you ain't never sleeping on the couch.
Nope.
Nope.
That was something that, before we got married, I had the conversation. This is a long time ago, but I told her, listen, no matter what happens, we can get upset at each other, but you can never ask me to not sleep in my bed, right? I work hard enough to sleep on the same bed that you sleep. So if you want to be upset, either you go to the couch, that's your choice, you're deciding to do that, or we sleep in the same bed, give me your bag, that's fine. I don't care if you give me your bag.
Oh, I gave you my bag a few times.
She gave me her bag a lot of times. But at the end of the day, we're still sleeping together, right? This is what we're doing. Not.
I've never
not
forgot
sleeping on the
that.
couch.
Yeah, when you said that, I've never forgot.
Unless
that.
you wanted to.
Unless I want to, and there was times I wanted to, so that's perfectly fine. But it was never by
By choice. By
force.
force. There you go.
Okay.
Yeah.
This one's for both of y'all.
Okay.
If you were a famous duo, who would y'all be? Examples like Bonnie and Clyde.
Like a song?
No, nobody.
No.
LeBron and Savannah. Like who?
Oh, I know. I know this is gonna sound funny though. Well, at least to me, Stephen Curry and his wife, because they met at church. Not so much like basketball. They met at church. Or
Steph and
And they're
Aisha.
both very good looking.
oh yeah,
They both
yeah.
play really good basketball.
So you're gonna co-sign with that answer.
Yeah.
Who would y'all be?
God, definitely not Bonnie and Clyde. I think that's just like no, that's not. I don't know. As a couple, Beauty and the Beast.
Oh Lord.
That makes perfect sense. I get it.
Oh Lord.
I get it.
Because at the end, I turned out perfectly
Right.
fine.
Sandy's beautiful. and
Sandy's beautiful.
The
She
looks
makes
we
me
get when we
better.
go out. How did that guy?
I love it.
Their secrets.
I love
right?
it.
Wow.
That's
You're a beauty.
you're a beauty and he's a beast. Right? Yeah.
Oh Lord. Okay.
Okay, that's it for tea time.
Yes, please.
Before we get ourselves in trouble, that's it
Enough
for
with
tea
that.
time. Remember to continue to send in your questions to us. We love them. Link is below. All right, GP fam, it's time for my favorite segment called Mic Flip, where I become the guest and the guest becomes the host. Santiago, you've been waiting for this moment your entire life. So now you are the new host of Going Public Podcast, where you guys get to ask me a question. Nothing is off limits. You ready?
I'm ready.
I am sure.
All right.
All right.
We came up with the question. Go ahead.
We did.
Together or individual?
No, together.
Oh, Jesus.
Okay, we put our heads together. So you've interviewed a lot of fascinating people, right? So what is one insider story from one of your guests that has stuck with you and that has changed the way you think or work?
I think it's a collab with all of them. Is that if you ever been to that store Build-A-Bear and you get to design something, right? If I could grab something from every one of my guests, that would become the person I want to become.
Right.
You guys love really loud and really hard. Jeff and Diane, they operate in grace, in love. Poppy operates in wisdom. Chris operates in just generosity, things like that. Clay operates in just being a hard worker, overcoming whatever, So all of my guests have characteristics that I want to pull from. Yeah. All right. So we heard from host Santi. What about from host Sandy? What's your question?
All right. My question is gonna be about your future wife. Like, what is that one thing that is a must for you? Like, either she's gotta learn how to cook, or she's gotta like have her toes done, or she's gotta wear a certain something, or she's gotta do something every morning. Like, or
Yes, and yes.
yes.
But
Like one thing.
the one thing is the thing that's real attractive for everybody right now. The attractive question is, what do you bring to the table? I want a woman that observes the table and brings whatever is missing to that. We watched a crazy movie. It's been a year ago. It's the Frito-Lay movie.
Oh.
And y'all remember that?
Cheetos Hot
Cheeto.
Hot.
Flaming Hot.
What's her name?
And Judy.
Judy.
And
You want a Judy?
I want a Judy because she believed in his vision even when he stopped.
Well, no one believed in it.
Right, even his parents. And so I want a woman who will push me to become everything I'm supposed to be, even when I stop believing in myself.
Right. You heard that, guys.
Get you a Judy.
He wants
Where
a
you
Judy.
at, Judy?
Yeah.
Where you at, Judy?
Yeah.
With the big old,
We're waiting for you, Judy.
With the
yeah, with the, you know.
yes.
Well, you guys did awesome as a host. So if I'm ever absent, I know who I want to be my guest host.
Me.
Yes. The audience,
of us.
right? Beauty and the Beast.
There you go, Beauty and the Beast.
Thank y'all so much. That's it for Mike Flip. So as we end tonight's episode, I want to end it with a question to you guys.
Okay.
If there is a message that you have for the world, what would it be? Ladies first.
Okay.
I'll let her answer.
I mean, I always say, even with like my kids, my thing with Noah or Junior would be, you know, some people say like karma and stuff like that, but I think I go back to like the Bible, like be kind and do good. Like it comes back to you, you know, like we just don't know what the other person or what other people are going through, and just be kind. Like the world is already messed up, you know, so. And it'll come back. It'll come back to you always. So
I love that. Yeah. Be kind.
Yeah, just add on. Life's a full circle, you know. So again, kind of like what she said, you know, to treat others, because you'll never
treat others the way you want to be treated.
You'll never know when
golden
you'll be
rule.
in the position someday that some other person could have been. That's simple.
I love it. Well, I love you guys. Y'all know how much I love you.
Love you.
It's a godsend that you guys are in my life, and
Same.
nothing is done on accident. The Lord knew exactly what he was doing when he brought y'all into my life. The kids think super highly of you guys. Sometimes I think they like to be at y'all's house more than at our house.
We like it
Probably,
better that way.
but
We say the same thing about our kids. I
Right.
think they just want you guys over all the time, you know?
yeah. So seriously, from the bottom of our hearts, from the Going Public Podcast, we want to just say thank y'all for coming on.
Thank you for having us. Yes.
You guys are already family, but when you're a guest one time, you come back again, which y'all will. You are now family of the Going Public Podcast.
Right.
So, fam, if you guys love tonight's podcast, make sure we follow Santiago at your handle is...
At shytown.dad.in.texas.
That's long, but the link is down below.
Way down there.
Sandy, what is your handle?
Oh my God, it's my email.
No, it is not. Stop.
Sandrita0507.
Okay, that's it.
Yes.
Link is below. It's right now. It's
No, I
going
know
on
it's
right
not
here.
My email.
But it's...
God, it's the same. I've been using it forever.
Okay.
Sandrita0507.
Okay. Sandrita0507 on IG. Hey, thanks again so much for tuning in.
Thank
Make
you.
sure you guys like, share, comment, and most importantly, subscribe. Thank y'all so much. We'll see you next time. Love you.
Modes on the beat.